Hi.
Hi, Brady. How are you doing today?
I'm still feeling really sad and stuff.
Okay,
I felt kind of better after seeing you for the first time last week, but
that's good.
yeah.
Okay, so, like we spoke about last week, you came here, you're feeling a little bit down, a little bit depressed and lonely because um, you're really trying to find a companion in life,
Yeah.
and you've been struggling, trying to go on dates, and it's just not
Yeah.
working out for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did things go for you this week?
Same
Same
thing. I went on 2 dates this week, but like the last 15 years, it was just awful, and I'm still feeling really sad about it.
Okay, so, are you feeling anything else besides being sad? How
Yeah.
are you
Like
feeling?
so I feel really sad about these dates not working out, and I feel really alone, and I feel pathetic, and I just feel like sad, like I said, and then I start to feel anxious too about the rest of my life, and yeah, it's just a disaster right now.
Okay, so can you rate your sadness for me on a scale of like 0 being no sadness at all, and 100 being the saddest you could ever possibly be?
Wow, I'm really sad about it, so I'd say like 95%.
Okay. How about your loneliness, like on a scale of 0 to 100?
I'm very lonely. Like I don't have any friends or family either, so I'd say like 90%. I'm very lonely.
Okay. And you also mentioned feeling anxious for your future and how the rest of your life is going to be. So, how would you rate that?
Like 80%.
80.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you also mentioned pathetic.
Yeah, I feel very pathetic. Like I'd say like 80% too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're feeling this way after you go on a date or you're thinking to yourself like things just aren't going my way, and you feel very alone. What are the thoughts that you experience? Some of the more unhelpful thoughts. Remember how we spoke last week about how we have these things called automatic thoughts. So they
Right.
they just pop into your brain without you even really thinking about it. It just kind of pops in there. So when you're feeling this way, what kind of thoughts do you experience?
I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like whoever I'm going on a date with, they're way better than me, and I'm not good enough. I feel like it's always my fault.
Okay.
I feel like here we go again. There's not this is there won't be a date number two. I feel I just feel like I say the wrong things too. I feel like it's all on me, and that I just every time it just feels like it gets worse and worse because like my self esteem just like gets lower and lower and lower, and yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think what we should do is I have a thought record sheet here. So basically, what we're going to do is kind of cover a little bit of what we already talked about, but basically, we're going to go through, each column and fill out everything that you're experiencing. Then this way, you can look back at it. We can go through why this is unhelpful. What can we do about it? Because obviously, these negative thoughts and feelings are going to affect the way you're living your life. You want to avoid situations and shut yourself off from everyone. So I think we've already covered your issue about having trouble finding a companion and that kind of thing, and your emotions. We went through and we rated those, and all the unhelpful thoughts you just mentioned. So I think now what we should do is go through the facts that actually support these thoughts that you just mentioned. So can you think of the straight facts that 100% support all these, thoughts that you just mentioned to me?
Well, I rarely ever make it to a second date.
Okay.
Does that count as one kind?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I always kind of say the wrong thing. Like Do you want an example?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I don't know. I always say things and then I like say them and I'm like, why did I say that?
Okay.
I say like, are you really gonna eat all of that? Like,
Okay.
just and then I think, wow, like that's so rude.
Okay.
Like, stuff
so when you look back on it, you
Yeah.
think to yourself, oh my gosh, why would I say that?
Yeah, like that's
Okay.
just stupid. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that I'm not good enough and that like my self-esteem is very low and that the other person sees that and I kind of run out of things to talk about too.
Okay.
What else? I just feel like pathetic and I just feel like I'm wasting the girl's time. Like that I'm it's just like I said I'm 35 and like I just want to get married and have a family and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So now that we have the facts that support it, let's do the opposite and let's think about, the evidence that you can think of that is the complete opposite. Doesn't support it at all. Some
Okay.
some facts that suggest that maybe it isn't true. That it's always
So like the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I guess that maybe the part about it always being my fault could be untrue. Like maybe it's like I guess you're not gonna always marry the person you meet.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. I was just going to say, just because you have a few bad dates and things aren't going well, you don't get a second date. It's not necessarily that they don't like you or maybe it's just that you guys are incompatible.
Right.
That can happen. You're obviously not going to go on first dates and right away you're going to marry that person a month later. So realistically, it could just be that you're incompatible, right? So when you go on dates, do you think, oh, like I really like this girl, every single one,
Right.
Realistically, when you go on dates,
No.
are you always like right away you really like her?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you think of anything else?
What else? Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, well let's talk about. You said your low self-esteem. It shows. Everyone can see it. You go on these dates and everyone sees it, and so they want nothing to do with you. But does low self-esteem? Do you think that makes or breaks a person? Like they automatically don't like you just because.
Yeah. No, you're right. It doesn't.
Okay.
Like, and I guess they can't really see your self-esteem.
No, exactly.
That's
it's
an
inside.
internal thing. Yeah.
That's your own feelings. So, do you think it's safe to say that just going on a bad date, okay, maybe your self-esteem is a little bit lower after that. Then you go on another date, and maybe you're not feeling so great about yourself. But does that necessarily mean that the person's going to think you're a terrible person? I don't like this guy.
No, not at all.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say that that's something that doesn't support the thought.
Yeah,
okay, so we'll add that down. Okay, so
really see what you're saying now that we're kind of
good. Okay, that's why these are really helpful. To go through step by step and think, okay, these are the things that do help me, and these are the things that support that maybe this isn't actually true. It can be really helpful. So I think now what we should do is kind of turn the page and think of a more realistic way to approach this. So what's a better way that you can approach a situation, going on a first date or having a bad first date and it goes nowhere? Like, what's a better way that you can approach that situation instead of shutting yourself out and just getting really down?
I guess I could be more confident.
Okay.
I could kind of go in with more positive thoughts.
Absolutely, that's a great idea.
No matter what I'm feeling, kind of go in like full of thoughts. Maybe I could like have like backup things to say.
Okay, let's elaborate more on that.
Like if I don't know what I'm gonna say and I think I'm gonna say something inappropriate, maybe I could have like a list, like a backup list, or
Okay.
maybe like some cards.
You're feeling nervous, so
Yeah.
you can, you know,
that I have
rehearse it beforehand
Yeah.
and think, okay, if I'm feeling really nervous,
I'm gonna say this
instead of saying
or do
something
this.
rude. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we can work on some of those together. Some constructive things that you can say to people and kind of get the conversation going. And the cue cards are a great idea. You know, you can look before the date and think, okay, this is what I'm gonna say if I'm feeling nervous and I don't know what else to do. It's a great idea. Anything else you can think of?
I don't know. Maybe I could just kind of, again, not go into every date thinking like, oh, I'm gonna marry this girl, or like if this doesn't work, then I'm gonna be alone forever. Like, maybe I could think like, okay, like it's just they're in the same boat as me. It's one date.
Yeah.
I might never see her again. Maybe very well. Like just kind of relax.
I think that's great. It's a much more realistic way of thinking, you know. And it's, you know, probably it would put you more at ease going into situations, dates, especially thinking, okay, you know, not thinking the worst, oh, this is going to be bad, I know it's going to turn out horribly, and instead going in and saying, okay, these people are in the same boat as me, we're both going to be nervous, maybe I'll see her again, maybe I won't. I think that's a lot more realistic and a lot more productive for you and your self-esteem, right? Then you won't get so down on yourself every time. So I think we've covered everything, unless you want to add something else, if you can think of anything else.
No, not really.
Okay,
but I'm starting to feel a little better. Yeah.
Good, I'm glad. So now what we're going to do is exactly that. We're going to re-rate your emotions. So let's go back and think about, okay, so you said before, you know, you're feeling really anxious, really lonely, sad and pathetic. So let's go through those again and think, how are you feeling now? Now that we've gone through and thought more realistically and gone through the things that don't support the negative automatic thoughts, let's think about how you're feeling now.
Okay. So, like,
let's go through and rate
sadness?
them. Yeah.
I'm feeling a lot. So maybe 40%.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Are there any other really strong emotions that you're feeling at this point?
Well, like my feelings of like anxiety and stuff have kind of feel like they went down to.
Okay, that's great.
Maybe to like 50.
That's a great improvement.
In terms of feeling pathetic, that's probably down to 50. I feel,
You feel a little bit relieved,
yeah.
You know, like it's off. Okay.
Yeah, like everything's
great.
Yeah.
Anything? How about your loneliness?
I guess
it's kind of difficult when you're sitting here with somebody at the moment. But think about, you know, when you go home and you're alone after this. How would you rate your loneliness? Do you think?
Maybe like 60.
Okay.
I guess that's not a huge drop, but yeah.
Well, it's difficult because in the moment you're. You know, you're with somebody. We'll see when you go home. And, you know, I'll send one of these home with you. So this week, anytime you come into a situation where you think this would apply, it would be great for you to just take 10 minutes even and just sit and jot it down, and you can rate your loneliness and stuff like that. We can fill out the rest in session next week. Even if you just want to get up to the unhelpful thoughts you're thinking, then we can go through the rest together if you prefer that. So now that we've rated the emotions, things have, you know, calmed down a bit. You're feeling a little bit more at ease, which is great. So next time you encounter this type of situation, you know, like let's say you go on a date this week, how do you think you're going to approach it now? Right? Has that changed?
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna approach it like more relaxed, thinking more like realistic about things and meeting someone and marriage stuff. I'm gonna think and have like plan things to say in my mind. I'm gonna be more confident, just kind of stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So I think that's it.
Okay.
As you can see here, we went through everything. I jotted it all down. So if you want, you can take this home as an example, so that you know to remind yourself of what we went through today. And like I said, even if you get up to just the unhelpful thoughts, then we can fill out the rest. If you feel comfortable to do this, by all means, go ahead, and we'll go over it next week and chat about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.